Well, it's time to pick apart some more NASCAR bullshit. And I'm going to include SpaceX because this guy didn't do it. But yeah, anyways.
Alright, so this should be fun. We're gonna pick apart NASA a little bit, and let's look at reality versus a staged nonsense, Disneyland ride to dazzle your mind and dazzle your eyes and give you the illusion of people flying into outer space. So we're going to compare actual G-forces placed upon human beings in a centrifuge, on actual airplanes, and then we're going to show you footage of actual rocket launches on the Soyuz rocket, the same rocket that allegedly takes people up for many years now. I think it's at least 20 years, up to the old tin can in the sky, the ISS, which is traveling at 17,000 miles an hour. So what you're going to see is some videos of a few different people, and you're going to see the actual G-forces. Watch their faces. They use this maneuver called the hook maneuver because they have to squeeze their muscles so hard and breathe and make the sound hook to grit your teeth to force the blood up into your brain. Otherwise you pass out. And you'll see in some of these videos, people do in fact pass out all the time. And keep in mind, a lot of these astronauts that are going up there to the ISS, they're old, they're skinny, they're not in shape, and these people doing these actual G-forces are typically athletes. They do weight training, they're physically fit, and you got this old lady supposedly going up in that dick-shaped rocket not that long ago with William Shatner. She's like 80 years old with probably, I think it's 4 or 5 Gs. It's complete nonsense. She's just sitting there twiddling her thumb, and it's all show. It's all make believe. So let's jump into this.
A lot of negative people, but the positive drop it. One more. That's all good. Nice work.
The reason he's struggling is because the human body is not really adapted to do this type of thing. And I'm going to show you in a video that they actually have in this video right here, but I'm going to show you the actual original video that they mentioned that the body just like, it doesn't matter how much you train this, it doesn't adapt. It doesn't adapt at all. Like, you'd have to use like God level powers to adapt to this type of thing.
Alright, here comes the G. Get after it. Here we go.
You said just doing those simple maneuvers at that speed is causing him to really struggle. See, he's celebrating just doing a fucking turn at that speed.
This is the Royal Air Force Training Centrifuge at Farnborough, and
this is the video I was talking about. He's only going to experience about what they experience when they're in the spacecraft on the launch, and this guy passes out. Like,
team here are going to push me as far as they are allowed to push a civilian.
The centrifuge, what it does is recreate the forces that you feel in an aircraft. For our routine pilot training, first time pilots go on the centrifuge, we expect them to get up to 5G.
We increase the G that Tom is exposed to. The blood's going to be pushed down into his feet, and he's going to have to work really hard to push that blood back up to feed oxygen to his brain to keep him conscious. And in real life, we would be expecting that person to be flying an aircraft whilst doing that.
I'm getting a little bit of grey out. I can't quite see.
We teach the anti-G strain manoeuvre, which composes of 2 separate parts. First of all, muscle tensing, so both the buttocks and the legs, squeezing the blood vessels to try and get the blood back up into the chest and the head. But also the second part is a breathing manoeuvre, which increases the strain in the chest, directly increasing the blood pressure to the great vessels in the chest and keeping him conscious. And when you lose blood pressure to your head, you could even lose consciousness, and we term that G-induced loss of consciousness or G-lock.
Watch this. Right around 3 Gs, it gets a lot. And he wasn't in it for very long. Like, when they say they expect the guy to get to 5 Gs on his first try or whatever, they're expecting that person only to deal with that for a second. Like, just like, not a second, but like a short period of time. These astronauts are dealing with this for quite a long time when they're going up into space. It feels real, you know, but it's not real. We all know that. Otherwise, that would happen to them. The reason I'm using this footage is because, like, you can't find footage. Like, I tried rewording it a million different ways. I can't find no footage of what he shows you as far as them going up into space from the cockpit.
Blimey! I lost everything there. Wow!
About 4 Gs, okay. Some people say 3 Gs, some people say 4 Gs. I'm pretty sure they changed it from 4 Gs to 3 Gs. I tried to find NASA information, and NASA, like, literally, they scrubbed the only information they had about it. Like, I went to the website and it was gone. Because they don't want it. I guess they saw this video or something, and they realized they had fucked up.
Will effectively increase the weight of the body, so that at 5G you feel 5 times heavier. G can be fatal, and in simple terms, you can stop the blood flow to the brain, and that can kill you.
This chap is now at 5G in the machine, and after just 6 seconds, his brain is so starved of blood, he goes unconscious.
Now imagine trying to go all the way up into space. You know how long that shit takes? A lot more than 6 seconds, I'll tell you that. And remember, the body can't adapt to this shit. Like, unless it's using, like I told you, like God tier adaptation. Like, basically making thousands of years of adaptation happen in like a moment's notice.
That's easy. That's not so easy.
Quite sure what to expect, and I think it's probably coming as a bit of a surprise to him.
God, it's like having an elephant sitting on my chest.
The blood is actually draining away from his brain at this point. All the organs in his body as well are feeling heavy, including the heart, so that tends to descend about an inch or so.
The interesting thing about that guy talking is he's actually in the middle of this thing spinning. Most people would have had extreme vertigo from that alone.
Change his shape into some pear shape.
You just hear him, it turned his heart, because of gravity on it, like from a regular shape into a pear shape. He's in the middle of that thing watching this.
Lift my arm up now.
Pay attention to that.
His body weight at the moment is heading towards about 1/3 of a ton.
So I'm assuming they have him under about 3, at most 4 Gs. Maybe even 5, but I don't think it was 5. I think it's around 4 Gs, I'm imagining, maybe. Because he's a big guy, so it's about 600 pounds. It's about 1/3 of a ton. It might even be 4 Gs, though. Like, 4 Gs would be more accurate now that I think about it. It's amazing that he actually withstood it.
You can see quite clearly the effect of the increased G's dragging.
So this is I see why he uses this. This is similar to what they experience when they're going into space, according to that one reference that he had.
The soft tissues of his face down, so that it's actually getting a very saggy, rather sort of elderly appearance.
I'm laughing because you see how he's in the middle?
Not
See,
too convinced he's in.
this guy right here is a G, bro. Like, he's sitting in the middle of this thing. Like, I'm telling you, most people would have had vertigo. Like, have you ever tried spinning around? Like, that's what he's doing. Like, and most people can't even do that. And he's sitting there, like, without any, like, real effect at all. Meanwhile, the other guy, he's getting it harder because he's on the outer end, like a gyroscope. And he's just getting the real effect, like the gravitational effects and all that. It's way harder. Like, think about spinning around a baseball bat. Remember, you can't really adapt. Either you're just gifted at it or you're not. Unless you're going to do, like, God level type adaptation, which I don't think any of y'all can do besides me. And I literally just created the power to release the energy that was building up. Do spinning and all that. And it's not easy, bro. Like I'm telling you.
Enjoying himself here.
Oh, I see. It wasn't that long they had him doing it. That's how he survived it. And what he's going through right now is a major headache. I already know. Yep, we're gonna fill his head.
That would not be...
Serious vertigo.
I would not be able to fly an aeroplane feeling like that.
I'm surprised you're not throwing up.
Okay, you can see all of these individuals that were flying, they had extreme forces on their body. If a person is 200 pounds, 3 Gs is 600 pounds, 4 Gs is 800 pounds forcing on your body. You heard the instructor saying that your organs get pushed back and get, smushed into your body. The blood doesn't make it to your brain. The last individual, he said it was a third of a...
You see this? Do you see how relaxed they are? Do they look anything like they're under any kind of like strain at all? Contrast that to the other guys. Remember, all their training is basically worthless. It does not help them adapt. It just helps them to work on their breathing.
Of a pound, if he's 200 pounds, that's 3 Gs. A lot of the other guys, if you were watching the indicators, you might want to...
See what I mean? Look at this guy. Like, he obviously, he really does this shit. And the reason they don't do no serious maneuvers is because they can't adapt. They're just fucking turning and doing a little bit of turning around. Like, that's it. Because they don't want to risk passing out. Like, if they pass out, there ain't nobody to save them.
I'm going to back it up. It was between 3.5...
And this guy's only doing a turn. They're going all the way up in the so-called space. So this takes a while. That's how long it
5
takes.
Gs. And I've shown you that the Soyuz rocket is between 4 and 4.5 Gs. So it's right in there. I think that the Blue Angels may push a little bit harder Gs. They say between 3 and 6, maybe 7 for a split moment. But you can see this is an extreme amount of force. And now let's go in and I'll show you the astronauts who are just chilling, waving their arms around, and let's see what type of forces are exerted on them, and let's look at the difference.
Hilarious, bro.
One last thing I'm going to bring up is we need to consider the actual speed they're traveling. The Soyuz rocket takes off 0 to 17,000 miles an hour in 8 minutes. That is unbelievable. What you're seeing here is a hypersonic sled. This thing is traveling at 6,500 miles an hour. So the Soyuz rocket in 8 minutes gets up to 3 times faster than this. Look at this thing. It is going so fast you can't even see it. It's unfathomable how ridiculous it is. There is no way that these people can be sitting inside there and just chilling and sitting inside a capsule, and when you watch the video, think about that sled and think about that thing going by 3 times faster than what you already can't see, and imagine 3 people sitting in a little rocket.
Not yet lift off because we just need to raise power. Lift off.
Keep an eye on these little dangling things. Remember, when they go to space, it's not supposed to be gravity, right? Notice they'll dangle the whole time. That's one of the main reasons I wanted to make this, but then I wanted to include the SpaceX part. You see the arms, how they was wiggling around like there's no forces on them? And then contrast that to when the other guy, the guy from Top Gear was in it, and he couldn't even barely move his arm. Like, he couldn't barely bring his arm up. He was the only, he didn't pass out. He was one of the few that didn't pass out so far in this video, but you know, he could barely move his arm. Look at these guys. This is hilarious, bro. Now you understand why they don't have no footage of inside of the crew. Because none of them can keep up those sustained G's like for that long. Like, they can't just like time it. You know? They gotta time it. Look how long they're sustaining that G.
Just spectacular. The launch of Soyuz MS-9 and the beginning of Alexander Gerst's Horizons mission to the International Space Station, broadening horizons in science and space exploration. On board the Soyuz.
Still, that weak ass woman can move her arm like it's nothing, bro. Like it's nothing. Another guy too.
Alongside Alexander, spacecraft commander Sergei Prokopyev, and NASA.
Does that look even like 2Gs to you? Does it look like if their weight is any different than on Earth?
Astronaut Serena Arnold-Chancellor.
That's a whole minute.
So look at these guys. They're doing arm pumps. They're smiling. They're just relaxing. Watch the, I don't know if this guy's the pilot in the middle. He's got this like weird extending antenna, and he's poking around and pushing these little remedial buttons, and the other guy is pushing buttons every once in a while.
Does it really look
these
like
guys supposed to be flying the rocket? Like, he's got this little extending poker, and
then look at the dangling things. If they were being pulled, if that amount of gravitational forces on them, they would not be dangling. They'd be pulled down. They'd be pulled fucking down. They would not be dangling like that. Like, give me a break, bro.
And what if he pushes the wrong button? Do they go the wrong way? You know, it's just so ridiculous. They have these hanging little stuffed animals to dazzle your eye a little bit, and they're in this cockpit with this ridiculous, you know, strapped in bags or whatever over their heads, and you know, so you listen to the guy. There's an American, a Russian, and a German.
You see how quick he's able to move his arms and stuff? Are any of them doing that technique that they had to do to be able to keep from going unconscious? Are any of them gritting their teeth? Are any of them doing any of that? Or did they look under under any forces? Nope.
Because of course, gotta make sure you have you know, camaraderie between all the different space agencies, because it's the place we all get together, like the Olympics or something like that, where we all, you know, the better.
2 fucking minutes of this shit, it would have been passed out, bro.
Better good for mankind and all this. It's just a complete hoax. Look at it.
There goes the CGI.
Look, there's absolutely no strain, no forces upon these people. Another big issue is that the Soyuz rocket is over 180 decibels, which literally will blow your eardrums out. At 200 decibels, it will kill you. That's why people have to stand 3 miles away in these rocket launches, because the vibrations will literally kill you, because it'll tear your body apart and shake your organs loose.
Okay, so now they're technically in space. Look at the dangling things. Are they weightless? Do you notice any difference in their movements from when they had 4Gs on them to high 3Gs, to now where there's technically no gravitational pull on them because they're in space? Like, you can tell by the animation, supposed to be in space. Look at the things still dangling.
Now we're reaching the peak G load during the launch phase.
Oh.
So these are now live pictures we are seeing from space, from outside the spacecraft. As we're rising towards orbit, so you heard everything normal.
You'll notice those dangle the whole time. They'll never become weightless. Never.
So this is first for one of these crew launches to the space station we have to see outside the spacecraft.
No difference in their movement, just like they were on Earth. Why isn't that thing becomes weightless? That little rod he has. It doesn't look like it's floating at all.
So we're absolutely in space now.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, we have already reached.
They said it themselves. They're in space now. Does anything look weightless, Steve?
An altitude of 142 kilometers. Rocket is currently flying at roughly 3 and.
That was 4 minutes basically of 4G. Or high 3Gs, whatever you want to call it. And no problem. Some people say it's even high 4Gs. Find me one video of people sustaining that for 4 goddamn minutes. Just find me one. Remember, they can't adapt to it. Like when they do like higher Gs, they only do it for like a little while. And then they're struggling. If they had kept it up, they would pass out.
1.5 kilometers per second. And the distance from the launch site is already more than 400 kilometers.
This is a joke, man.
Okay, so this is hilarious. So again, these guys are just chilling, relaxing. The announcer just said it's traveling at 3.5 kilometers per second. It's pretty fast. What that means, if you translate to miles per hour, that's 7,800 miles per hour. 7,829 miles per hour. They're traveling.
I don't need to look at this anymore. Now I'm gonna show you how she was saying that they can't adapt. Well, it's somewhere in this video. You can look at it yourself. Like, this is kind of a. I don't remember where it was where she said that. Because I was intending to actually include this video.
We didn't evolve for this.
There we go.
G tolerance is something that's innate in all of us. Some of us have high G tolerance, some of us have low G tolerance. Over the years, people's G tolerance doesn't really adapt. Any shortfall in G tolerance has really got to be made up.
It doesn't adapt.
Some
over
of us
years.
have high G tolerance, some of us have low G tolerance. Over the years, people's G tolerance doesn't really adapt. Any shortfall in G tolerance has really got to be made up by physical exertion in the G straining maneuver.
See, they have to do that G straining maneuver, and they didn't do that in the video. You already saw what happens to civilians when they get, when they have this happen to them. You see, like, and I tried to find video of the launch with them inside of it. They don't show that. They don't show it, and this is all civilians they sent. These are people that are not trained. They might have given them a little training, but none of them used the training, that technique. And yet they're able to withstand these G-forces that even like trained professionals can't deal with. But like I told you, I tried everything. I can't find any way of finding footage of this shit. Tried this. At first, and then let me go back. I can change it to NASA. And then they talk about SpaceX instead. Launch. Let's try that. Try that. No footage, man. They want to talk about SpaceX again, you see? That's why I was like, that's why I use this guy's video, because you can't find it. They won't let you see it. So, here's what their footage was of their launch. But why does this have to do with my, what does this have to do with my keyboard, you see? Y'all watch this bullshit.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
Elon Musk is not your friend, bro. It's part of this bullshit, bro.
T plus 30 seconds.
Wait till they show the crew. Watch what they do. You see how easily they moved on? Easily. Ain't none of them doing the breathing technique. None of them doing all the straining this shit. It looks like this is actually going faster than the last one, so the G-force should actually be higher. See how quick they're going?
We're through the period of maximum dynamic pressure. Looks like a smooth ride for the crew.
It took 4 minutes for the other guys. These guys are already up there somehow. They can't even get the timer. Oh, they skipped some minutes. Look. But look at it. Look at them. They're moving around like no fucking effect. Whole time. So this rocket is going even faster than the professionals rocket. There's a reason they don't have the footage looking at them at all. Just the rocket. Totally ineffective, man. What happened to the damn footage, man? Fucking joke ass motherfuckers, man. What else do I need to say, bro? What else do I fucking need to say, bro? And then all of a sudden, when they later, and they call it dragon too. Come on, man. That great deceiver, man. What does NASA mean in Hebrew? Deceiver, man. All you fools that believe this shit, y'all fools, man. And it's just another example of how you are fools. Like, and the rest of these fools, they just paid, man. They paid to go along with this shit. It's a big ass charade, just like a whole bunch of things. That's why they got all their money and this shit, man. Anyways, that's that. It's a fucking joke. Now you know, if you didn't know already.